then you are watching the Black Man Spy podcast. Welcome to the Morning Substack Live. This is day 78 of the U.S.-Iran war. We are still technically in a state of war, despite the fact that there's been a ceasefire. Until there is a final settled solution or Donald Trump resigns, this war is going to continue. And we are seeing a lot of indications that movements are being made around there. Things are happening. So that being said, we were just having this discussion about Greenland because we have to have this. We have to have this little idle banter before we start the show, so that we can get up to our 1,000 followers. We're at 400 now. 500 now. Oh, jumping up.
Yes.
So good morning. Hey, somebody's here from Colombia. Columbia, South Carolina. I saw you there before.
Okay.
Damn fine haggis. And what? Jackie O says, "Do you have a haircut? Did you get a little trim there?"
Yeah, I did.
Are you going on Hajj?
No, I'm top. It's it's time to cut. The summer is coming. The weather is getting a little hotter. You got to trim the beard a little bit. You got to trim the hair.
Well, I don't know about you, about weather getting hotter. It's going to be hot here next week. I'm going into New York City for a few days to do some research and to meet up with James Verini. His book launches next week, and I'm supposed to be at another event at the Spy Museum next week, but not sure if I'm going to be able to make it down to that. So, Jacob, do you have a nice couple of days off? You're at your vacation home, you said, right?
Yeah. It's because there's a public holiday today in Denmark, so we.
Is it Father's Day?
Yes. No, it's
the
Ascension
of
Day.
Mary.
We are very religious.
It's
country,
the Ascension of Mary.
Yeah, the Ascension Day. So
there's two ascensions. There's Jesus's ascension, which was like last. And now this is the ascension of Saint Mary.
I did not know that. Actually, that is something new to me. Mariam had a second showing, like Jesus did. Wow.
Yeah, she went.
Because Muslims believe in Jesus as their prophet, and they have a whole chapter of Mariam in the Quran. I'm not a Muslim anymore.
They love Miriam.
They love Mariam.
They love Miriam. She's revered throughout the entire Muslim world. And of the two women that you can actually say in Islam that you can put your finger on, one is Fatima, which was the Prophet Muhammad's second wife, if I'm not mistaken, and his most beloved, his young wife. And then the other is Miriam, mother of Jesus, because Jesus is the most powerful of all prophets in the Quran. And he, like from Christianity, you have to understand, all three of these religions...
Fatima is the prophet's daughter, not the prophet's wife.
Okay, daughter. Okay, who was the prophet?
For a second, you got me confused. I'm like, hold on. No.
Well,
Aisha was his wife.
Anyhow, we're not gone up here for Bible studies.
No, we're not here for Bible studies.
I'm sorry to disappoint.
Quran in the Bible study. All three. We are a multi-faith organization here. We're knowing how this impacts our associates. But Jesus comes back at the end of the Quran, and he ushers in the apocalypse and Judgment Day, and paves the way for the Messiah to return, right? Al-Masih to return.
There's two Messiahs. There's a Messiah, a Dajjal, and then there is the Masih ibn Maryam, the Messiah, the prophet, the son of Mary.
Ibn Maryam is Jesus, JC. So all of these things were being shared up and down the Western Saudi Arabian desert 620 years after Jesus's crucifixion. So Judaism, Mecca was filled with Jewish families. There were at least
the Al-Harbi tribe can trace their ancestry to Jewish tribes, and if you test their DNA, it will come almost pure Jewish ethnic. I tested my DNA. I came back almost 8% Jewish.
That's
So yeah,
because the Prophet Muhammad married into those families. So I mean, you're 100% Wajeeh here, right? So
that's
that
right.
being said, okay. Well, let's move on from our catechism. What mugs are you rocking? What does your guest mugs look like up there, Jacob?
Well, these are kind of boring.
That's your summer home mugs. The wife
Yeah,
chose those.
exactly. No, well, it was actually here when we took it over, and we just kept it.
Oh, you inherited a mug. You never know. You never know. It may have belonged to Hans Christian Andersen. It might be a relic. As far as technically, there are no other Danes throughout all of history that are noteworthy, with the exception of Hans Christian Andersen. Is that right?
Well, I would say that a couple. Niels Bohr.
Yeah, well, we all know Niels Bohr, but he's a physicist. Who cares about that guy? Tell me, did he write The Little Mermaid? No. All right. Did he write The Ugly Duckling? Hell no. Do you have to pay $30 to cross one bridge to go to his house and then pay $50 more to walk through? No. Niels Bohr, you probably walk right into his salon. Who else is famous in Denmark?
Michael Laudrup. Soccer player.
Oh, no. Well, who's our buddy that Jacob Orla Jolson took him out hiking and shooting in Denmark, in Greenland, the actor. Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Viggo Mortensen's famous. That's a famous Dane.
That's certainly. We've also had a couple of Danes that have been Bond villains.
What's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. I'm sorry to tell you, that's a good-looking motherfucker, buddy. Mads Mikkelsen's a good-looking dude. Mads Mikkelsen and Viggo Mortensen. You get the Bond villain, and then you get goddamn, the king of Rohan. No, the king of Gondor. So, hey, Denmark churns him out. Good. That being said, our light banter has lasted exactly 8 minutes. And that has led us into, we are just about to break our curfew of 1,000. We let everybody spool up here because we don't want the first 1,000 people to miss everything that we say. That being said, Wajeeh, it is time for the casualty report. Do you have any, casualties really haven't changed. So there's been no active combat. But oil's an adventure. What's going on there?
WTI is at 100. Brent crude is at 104.
Brent took a big drop. It was 103 107 yesterday.
Listen, I think the Trump visit to China is stabilizing the market just a teeny bit, but the market has learned enough that it hasn't dropped below 100.
Mm-hmm. I got to tell you something here, peoples. I mean, I love all this stuff, but this market, the stock market in the United States is clearly they're mentally ill. They live by every little wisp of information, and they are living in a fantasy world where Trump going to China is suddenly going to end the war. Still over $100 a barrel, which tells you they've already priced in failure. Otherwise, it'd be down in the 90s, right? The low 90s.
That's correct.
But what's super interesting to see is that the Iranians have let primarily Chinese ships pass through the Easy Pass lane. And that's probably also having an impact on the oil prices. A couple of VLCCs passing out, and I wonder whether Trump and his blockade will dare do anything about that. I doubt it.
Well, we're going to talk about that, and we've already got the questions. So for those of you who are here, who are watching this live on Substack and are not watching the recording on YouTube, which is now working out very well. The recordings are back up. They're automatically going. Please go to the live chat that I set up for day 78. If you go under my chat, and you can ask, before I even got here, there were 30 questions. So you guys have obviously a lot of things that you want to know. And now, with that being said, please go down to that little heart symbol in the lower right and smash the hell out of it so that we can change the algorithm. The algorithm can notify everybody that this podcast is live and that people should come out and listen to what we have to say, because we are going to give some very different perspectives. Oh, I didn't introduce everybody. Jacob Kaarsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, is back and in his summer house with an IKEA mug that was made by Hans Christian Andersen. And watch the gay lion from Minneapolis, Minnesota, who is still rocking his Italian coffee, his little cheesy, Pier 1 coffee cup that was imported from Italy. Check those mailboxes, Waj. That being said, let's go on to significant activities. There is a significant activity that impacts oil that we need to talk about, and that is the fact that you mentioned it a moment ago. The Iranians this week have let 30 ships through the Strait of Hormuz, the single largest flow of vessels since the beginning of this war. But they all went through the Iranian Revolutionary Guard multi-pass stage, right?
Yep.
So that's supposed to be Lilo saying multi-pass. Yeah.
If you do you have a chance to see if you have a music button that comes on your screen? If you click on that, it allows us to hear.
Okay, I can get a good recording of it. All right. Anyway, I just like having this on the desk. And they have allowed 30 vessels through. All of the vessels went through the IRGC traffic separation scheme. They were all visually checked by the IRGC. They all paid $2 million to pass through. So Iran just this week rolled up $60 million just for sitting there. We've talked about a lot of Iranian Rev Guard small craft movement. Jacob, you missed it. We had a day of 150 high-speed boats in the Strait of Hormuz operating in squadrons of 10 and 20 vessels. So they're not playing games anymore. They went from 30, now they're rolling 150, 200 vessels at a pop up there. In other news related to the Strait of Hormuz and the IRGC, the UK Maritime Trade Office reports that the IRGC seized a vessel off of Khor-Fakkan, which is pretty far down the Strait of Hormuz, dead center in the middle of the American blockade area. So they seized that vessel. We don't know what the status of it is, but it is no longer under the command of the master. So the Iranians themselves are getting a little froggy. They are showing people who are boss and seizing ships all on their own.
Arr,
right? They're actually better pirates. Apparently, our job is just to blow up the ships we intended to stop. You could have just fired some shots across their bow and they would have pulled over. We actually have one of those ships is done. We've destroyed its engineering, its bridge burned out, everything. So the Iranians are making a big deal of this IRGC ship crossing. Here is the traffic, by the way, of as it stands. This is the AIS data for the SOH. You're all experts now, so you know what the watch section means. This is the Southern Traffic Separation Scheme, or what we call the Emergency Traffic Separation Scheme. I don't know if you've seen it, but the IRGC put out not a Lego video, a Minions video of Trump and Hegseth trying to get through all these little islands in a rowboat. And it's pretty hilarious. And this is the old traffic separation scheme here. And then way up here is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard traffic separation scheme that you can see there. But the Strait of Hormuz traffic activity, A lot of those vessels that the Iranians warned off of Ras Al Khaimah have moved down to Dubai as ordered. That was 3 days ago. The IRGC said, we don't want to see you off Al Quwain or Ras Al Khaimah. This is Dubai, Sharjah, Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah, Oman border crossing. That's Qasab border crossing. And you need to know this place. Dibba and Khor Fakkan is up here. So apparently the mariners are listening to them. Also, if you're off Dubai, you have a better chance of the chandlers coming out and bringing you better quality food and stuff. I don't know about you guys. I've been to Ras Al Khaimah. I mean, they've got a Spinneys up there, but getting the food stuff and supplies, you got a better chance getting that off of Dubai. Okay, that being said,
there's also a higher risk. There's also a higher risk up there if there is an escalation.
Yes, because missiles will just keep flying right into you.
Yeah.
And the IRGC also wants to clear that area so that they can tell when American warships or other ships are coming up there. So it's like an off-ramp that they want to keep clear. That being said, that is not the most significant activity of the day. The significant activity is Donald Trump is still on his second, going on third day in China. He arrived yesterday for a 3-day visit. He came with his 2 grifting sons who represented American industry. I don't know if you guys remember that when Hunter Biden went to China with his father, representing nothing other than Hunter Biden, the MAGA went crazy. I mean, they went nuts. Well, here's Hunter, Eric and Don Jr. representing multi-billion-dollar organizations. By the way, did you know Don Jr. was only worth $40 million last January 19th? And now, January this year, he's worth $2 billion. I look forward to those investigations. They're going to be awesome. We're going to find out he was like running meth or, hookers and blow everywhere. That's just my opinion, right? So that being said, Donald Trump has arrived in China. Let's talk about some things related to his arrival in China. First off, I learned from a very good friend of mine, Thomas Logan. He is a Asia expert, a true Asia expert. If anything happens, I'm calling that guy. Lives in Tokyo, speaks Korean, Chinese, and Japanese fluently, reads the newspapers for me. Guy is absolutely amazing. And he said it is not unprecedented for President Xi to not come to the airport for state visits. And he says, all of you are making way too much out of President Xi not coming to meet Trump at the airport. He said, that is not how China does it. The only person he ever meets face-to-face like that at the airport is Kim Jong-un because, he's a madman with atomic bombs.
So he arrives by train.
He arrives by train, so there's no sweat. He doesn't have to go anywhere. So with regards to Trump going to China, it's not a big deal that Trump was not met there. What was a big deal? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What was a big deal was that no government official met Donald Trump at the airport. Not the foreign minister, not the minister of finance, not the head of janitorial services at the airport. Nobody. The only people that met him were a bunch of flag-waving, synchronized dancing Chinese girls. I will show you that in a moment for those of you.
Chinese children.
Were they children? I don't know.
They were children. They were school children waving the flag and shouting. Yeah. And then after he was gone, they were all like, oh my God, the president just passed by. Oh my God. You should have seen that too.
Yeah. And my favorite part, apparently that some Chinese diplomats did arrive and did greet him, but it was no one of consequence. Here you are. They did have the honor guard. Oh my God, I will show this to you now. This is Fox News's version, which essentially is, if they had their way, they would report this as China surrenders to Donald Trump and names him absolute ruler and friend of China forever. Let me take my headphones. Hear the
Under his thumb. He got them under his thumb.
you can see this exciting
The strong
event
man.
as it occurred. And there they are, synchronized flags by Chinese teens, y'all.
Ask the Saudi citizens how to do it. We've been doing it since we're kids.
Yeah, that's what he said. I mean, Korea. Right? This is all he wanted. Donald Trump wanted the honor guard and he wanted adulation. And then you could almost see the Chinese sitting around thinking about this like, oh, what should we do for this guy? He says, whatever you do. We have the honor guard, and then we have a bunch of kids waving US flags in one hand, Chinese flags in the other hand. Trump does not understand the significance of this means these two nations are equal. There you go. You got your flag. Look, out of that group right there, I can tell you 2 are bodyguards, 2 are translators, 2 are just sidemen, right? And 4 are bodyguards from what I can tell. Okay, yay. We arrived in China. Now the real work starts. So apparently...
Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all. He got a tour, right, of the old city, right? He got a tour. He got shown some things. There's
jumping up and down.
More kids. You can't say, have you been to the old city? No. So
No.
You don't know how great it is, right? So that's it. Now, it appears that it was Vice President Xi Jinping that showed. What I found more interesting is Trump's walking down the steps of Air Force One looked very strange. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they sort of cut it out. Here, I'll show you a little bit. But he's almost pained. They cut it. I'll show you. I'll get the full video. But I watched it when he arrived. And I was like, does he know how to walk down the steps? Did they talk to him? And, he's old. He's more decrepit than that I've seen Joe Biden ever do. Joe Biden still rides a bike, right? Joe Biden's old, but, Joe Biden isn't staring at each step like it's an assassination attempt. And you can almost hear the words, don't trip, don't trip, don't trip, down every step. And why that is significant geopolitically is everyone sees it,
If the Americans are still keen on voting for very old U.S. presidents, maybe they should consult the Saudi government on how to transport old kings, because we're very good at it. We never make the king go down the stairs. He has an escalator to go down from.
Right.
Maybe Trump needs an escalator.
Here's the video, and the analysis of this video is he is concentrating with all of his might to go down each step. And that was exactly what I thought when I saw it. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, do you notice he has a little limp in his step?
Mm-hmm. His left one.
This does not bode well. For people who, in all the time in history that were Sovietologists and Kremlinologists who would watch to see what were the messages and what was the symbology of of strength in these things. Donald Trump looks old, acts old. Where they had the picture of him with Xi Jinping, I'm going to see if I can find that photo. She looked like one of those Chinese waving cats, right? No, I'm not joking. He's a little chubsy-wubsy, but I just noticed the difference, between the way that they stood. She embodied that Chinese philosophy of as you get older, you get a little fatter, you look more like Buddha, you look serene, and all of that stuff. By the way, I studied Chinese before I became a cryptologist. I studied Russian and Chinese because I thought in the Cold War I should know the language of our two opponents. Studied the wrong Chinese. I studied Mandarin, I studied Cantonese. Whichever one is spoken in Taiwan, I studied that one. And all I really learned how to do was sing the flower drum song. Sing the flower drum song in Chinese. But if I go to Taiwan, I'm going to be very popular. That being said, I'll show you this photograph of Xi and Trump standing. Here it is, out in front of the Imperial City. Yeah. And Xi, I'm not joking. I'm going to stop this video. Right here, you could just see him waving his arm like one of those Chinese cats, all right? And Trump is literally propped forward. Do you see it? And his suit is cut to give him like a bustle, you know? And it's probably covering up that insulin pump that he has there. But I just thought Xi looks like the cat that ate the canary, and Trump is looking like the next canary. Do you guys? I mean, I just found that fascinating. By the way, a journalist is asking him a question about China. He goes, "Beautiful country, great country." He goes, "What about Taiwan?"
Great leader.
Nothing. What about Taiwan? Nothing. Walk this way, and you know this is going to be difficult. But Trump is bouncing from left to right as he walks. So I'm sorry, that guy's got health issues that every one of us has to take into account, right? Whether you're waiting for the patriotic hamburgers, as Jonah Goldberg, a comedian yesterday, started her set off with, "I'm having a hard time figuring out what to wear on that day," and that's all she said. Right? Everybody knew what she was talking about. Do I wear a gown? Do I just run out into the streets with what I wear? I should order that banner now. So this being said, Trump is in China. The talks that happened today were the greatest. Did any of you follow the discussions between Trump? Okay, well, first, Trump tries, here's a video of Trump trying his power hand G.I. Joe Kung Fu grip on a guy who lives in a country that created Kung Fu. And it did not work. Okay, hold on. Here he is trying his "I tried this on the king" super duper don't let go hand grip, hand on the back. Yeah, China, beautiful country, China. I'm not letting go of your hand, China. Look at Xi's face.
Great leader. He's a great leader.
I'm going to tell you, the look on Xi's face, I'm going to translate it for you into English. It's DAFUK. The fuck? Look at him. He's like, power move. I've got you in the power Kung Fu grip. And he's like, yeah, Donald. All right, Donald. We're done here. We're done here. If you want any fertilizer, you'll let go of my hand right now. Let go of my hand. Let go. The fuck? Yeah. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed for us. So, I'm so glad I could do this for you because none of you should be watching this. It's not just a complete waste of time. The analysis yesterday on the two speeches that were given by the presidents was that Xi's was adult in the room. It was very measured. It was scripted. It had a lot of thought behind it. And technically, he read us the riot act. All right. Essentially said, The United States is positioning itself with regards to a rogue province. I wonder which one that is. Do you think it's Manchuria? Do you think it's? Do you think it's? It's probably Canton. That he was talking about Taiwan and said that he hoped that circumstances would not move the United States and China into conflict.
Into a
So you're
Thucydides
sitting here
trap.
reminding, you're Thucydides, right? That's how do you guys pronounce it? Okay, into a Thucydides trap in which one power, which is a rising power, hits and frictions against another great power and creates the Second Peloponnesian War, right? Wait, no, it's on my desk. Let me check my copy of Greek and Roman naval warfare. And to make sure that I got my wars right. Of course I have my wars right. So anyway, I just thought now Xi Jinping actually refers to the Thucydides trap often. 2015 is the first time he mentioned this to the United States. However, it has been noted by people who watch this stuff that Obama's visit to China, now he had two trips, one state visit, the other was actually a G8 summit, which was less formal, didn't have all the trappings. But Obama looked sober and serious at all times, right? In a phrase that I would describe, or a manner I would describe as, bitch, you ain't getting nothing over on me. And you can almost hear him think that, right? It's Obama, but with Xi and Trump, so Xi gave this very careful, calculated speech. Let me see if I can get some of the excerpts of it here. And Trump did not. When time came, Trump started his I'm going to schmooze you bullshit. And he did not have prepared remarks. He did not have anything that appeared to be policy. Nothing was written down. And it went sort of like this. China's the greatest. I'm going to see if I can get it because it is so ludicrous. Ludicrous, some of the commentary there. So here's some of it.
It's a great country. It's a great leader. It's all that, just.
Yeah. Let me switch my audio source so that.
You got it.
So that you can hear the actual commentary here. Oh, you can read the text. There it is. Kaarsbo. 世界走到新的十字路口，各位美国能不能翻越所谓的修昔底德陷阱？
We've had a fantastic relationship. We've gotten along. When there were difficulties, we worked it out. And I just want to say, on behalf of all of the great delegation that we have the greatest businessmen, the biggest, and they're all with me, every single one of them. And they're here today to pay respects to you and to China.
Okay, wait a minute. Did you see that head nod and laugh?
Did you see that? I wasn't the only one that saw that, right?
Yeah.
What?
You also saw the laugh that she just had, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Translated loosely, it went like this. Oh, this bitch. Okay, Donald. Whatever, bro. Whatever.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. Let me move on and play the rest. We have to
doing business, and it's going to be totally reciprocal on our behalf.
现在一种办也是相互成就，共同繁荣，走入一个新时代和政权相处之地。世界走到新的十字路口，中美两国能不能分裂所谓的修昔底德陷阱？
We've had a fantastic relationship. We've got.
So, Xi Jinping is talking about the movement of great nations so that they don't enter into a Thucydides trap. Donald Trump sounds like one of those commercials that says, all right, we have the best alcohol at the bar, we have the loosest slots, we have the best casinos, you know. He just sounds like one of those small weekend Indian casino advertisements. We've gotten along, we have the best businessmen, the biggest businessmen, and in the middle of it, she knocks his head back and giggles. Right? I'm gonna play that here. Let's see if you can watch the giggle, right?
And I just say, we have a more great delegation that we have. They're all with me. Every single one of them. And they're here today.
Yeah. All right, Donald. Yeah. You have the biggest businessman. Motherfucker, you had to bring a Chinese guy with you. They had a Huawei. Donald, he's not from Cleveland. So I just found that fascinating, that the contrast between these two leaders. I will say this from a geopolitical intelligence perspective. Clearly, one of them is an adult. The other one is trying to come on as a businessman with the, biggest payoffs and the loosest slots. It's just absolutely amazing.
But it's quite telling if you've seen, if you saw before the visit Trump's latest, the way he talked about going to China to meet Xi, and then also what he said after getting there. It's like the guy that has a weak hand turns up and tries to pretend that he's getting everything, and the dictator, Xi, is just sitting there. Well, this little bitch, I can roll him over. And that's what happens when you try to suck up to dictators. They do you, and that's what's happening here. And that's why Xi and the Chinese said, we're not going to talk about Taiwan. We do our business with the Iranians like we please, etc., etc. And that's it.
Trump's strategy for a long time is for him to be the head negotiator, and he's in many ways a micromanager. And the problem with micromanagers is, especially they don't prepare, especially if they don't get ready for a meeting, you can tell right away how much full of shit they are. And when you show up to a meeting with the president of the Chinese government, or if the leader of the Chinese government, you would prepare at least remarks to read or memorize few words that come out naturally out of your mouth, so you don't look like stupid shit in front of the rest of the global world. Yes, His Majesty has arrived in China and was received like a monarch. We respect him, okay? We want to. He's the strongest president in U.S. history. But at least prepare yourself. At least make us look good. You are the strongest person in the world. You're making us look like shit.
Well, one of the things that we did predict that the Chinese is that they would give Trump a pageant that would rival anything we do. I've been to some of these events where they bring out the honor guard. When I lived in Washington D.C., the honor guard was there. But the Chinese, of course, is bigger, better, brighter. Well, 6 minutes ago, the opening remarks of the bilateral meeting on China happened, and the Chinese whipped it out. They whipped out a big-ass military parade to impress Trump, and you won't see any fife and drum corps guys here. The Americans do, right? So let's watch a little bit of this. So they're playing the national anthem. Oh. So gun salute. Yeah, that's what the Chinese think of the national anthem, right? You should be shooting at that. Well, let's cut to the chase. Otherwise, we're going to be here for a while. So now, Chinese anthem. I see the baton waving. There it is. Now here's Trump getting his military honors with the school kids. School kids is a big theme this year, right? You know, the Chinese wouldn't whip out school kids for Obama, because if Obama was there, they'd be like, hey, these kids actually like Obama. You know, with Trump, it's number 17, 321, jump higher.
Yeah. He also said, I
The
really
whole
like
point for dictatorship. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
The whole point of China or any dictatorship, bringing the kids out is a symbol of this is our future. Look at our future generation.
Yeah.
It's just one of the biggest symbols that dictatorships uses. I remember this as a child, where it was a dream of mine to be chosen by the Saudi government if I could be, one of those people that receives a foreign leader. But that never happened. But
hold on, I want to tell you something. Trump is trying very hard here not to dance. Watch it. Watch his movements. He's jamming. Hold on. See him sort of swinging back and forth a bit. Here he goes. I want to dance. He's ready to pump those hands.
YMCA.
Now, here's what he's really upset about. Army does not shout as they're marching by you. And Trump loves this pageantry. Trump is in love with this. We do not whip out our bayonet, all right, and come out goose-stepping all the way through. And he's jealous as fuck of this. I met a diplomat who was in Paris when he went there for Bastille Day. That whole Bastille Day parade, he had never seen it before. That's why he wanted his own parade, because the French did it good. And not joking. And now here's the chicks in high heels with guns. Look, he's checking them out. He's checking them out. It's not an eyes right for that guy. All right? But you hear how they shout in unison. Our forces don't do this. North Korea does, the Chinese does, the Russians do it, and Trump's like, man, I want people to start shouting Trump, Trump, Trump. Let's see if he starts dancing again. This is just near real time. It's only 6 minutes behind. There he is. Yeah, look at his hands. Why is he flitting his pants? Holy shit, is he going to fall asleep? Look at his eye. It looks like he's about to go out, y'all.
Yeah.
So this is happening in near real time. This is like the end of the day, right? They're like a million hours. Are they 24 hours out? So they're like Australia. I think this is evening for them. If he starts dancing here, I shit you not, I will piss myself. So, okay, we can stop with that. All right. So all of this is supposed to bring some resolution, or at least transactions to the U.S.-China relationship to impact Iran. Yesterday, it was said that China reiterated that Iran should not develop nuclear weapons. At the same time, they're thinking, y'all need some ballistic missile fuel? Because that's what North Korea and China built those missiles for them, right? Built that entire 15, 20,000 ballistic missiles, all came from those industries. And they also committed that the Strait of Hormuz should be open. At the end of this, it's essentially going to be them saying, okay, now do something about it. We're going to go get Chinese food. What do you guys think?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like I said before, it's like when Trump says that the Strait of Hormuz needs to be open, and the Iranians say, yeah, it's open as long as you follow our rules. And I bet you the Chinese, they're on the same pace. They're saying, well, it's open. They'll let the Chinese ships through. And then obviously we'll support the Iranians with the rest, because they want to see the U.S. suffer a strategic defeat in the Middle East. So they'll sip another cup of sweet tea on that one.
I agree.
Okay.
I don't think anything will come out of this that is of significance regarding this war. The reality of the situation is that yesterday the Xi team press release and the Trump administration White House press secretary worked to the last minute to figure out what kind of release they could put out, because they couldn't agree on anything. And when you can't agree on anything, you bring your biggest business CEOs to come to China, and you can't walk out with anything. It is such a shame on our administration that we could not even get an economic deal that is worth our while out of this. Nevertheless, agree on how to end this war with Iran. Trump keeps saying that the Strait of Hormuz needs to open. Iran has told us what we need to do to get that open back up. We keep ignoring all those demands. In fact, Trump said that he wrote the first 2 points and did not finish reading the rest of the 10-point bullets that Iran has sent him, went directly to China. China cannot control Iran. China has been using Iran for years as a safety measure against the Western world, so they can get whatever economic deals that they want to get out of Iran. And then they promise Iran some things back to them, like, we'll give you some weapons, we'll give you some ballistic missile fuel, we'll give you some manufacturing.
Tech to improve your weaponry, and that's why we've seen the Iranians with more capacity to really strike hard.
Okay.
China needs Iran. They're dependent on them, so they're not going to have that much influence over the Iranians. Go ahead.
Right. Well, they'll have influence over the Iranians, but that's going to be between Iran and China, and there's going to be a shitload of oil that's coming to China before anything is done. I think that we said this very early on, Iran needs the Strait of Hormuz open. They may come and give China guarantees, going like, hey, let's just go back to February 27th. We will give you a new Chinese, multi-pass reader, and you can start collecting money on the down low, and Trump will think like he got an off-ramp, and the world will go back to normal. One last thing before we go to questions. Turns out Benjamin Netanyahu made a secret visit to the United Arab Emirates during the war. On March 26th, 2 executive jets associated with him that have only been associated with the president of Israel. They take 2, one for a security detail,
Prime
one
Minister.
for him, right? And the prime minister. Yeah. This Bombardier Global 6000 and a Global Express XRS flew to El Ain, which is a very, very, very small town out in the desert, where he apparently met with Mohammed bin Salman for 4 hours, turned around, flew right back out. So that's creating a lot of controversy.
Mohammed bin Zayed or Mohammed bin Salman?
I'm sorry.
Mohammed bin Zayed.
Mohammed ibn Zayed. Okay. Sheikh Zayed's second son, because Khalifa was the first. So, yeah, I'm sorry. All of the bins are getting to me. So I'll be shouting out it's bin Laden in a minute. So the UAE has flat out said this did not happen, right?
Yeah.
The Israeli spokesperson for Benjamin Netanyahu said it absolutely happened. right? And here's the flight logs to prove it. I do not get what Israel is doing, but remember how I said Israel has their own agenda and they don't care how it affects their friends, allies, or whatever. And this is one that could seriously damage the UAE.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Wajeeh, and I'll come after you.
The United Arab Emirates is the only GCC other than Bahrain, and Bahrain didn't join the Abraham Accord other than because of the UAE to begin with. And when you have a secret meeting, you're meant to keep that secret. The Israeli government purposely, every time they have a secret so-called meeting with any Arab leaders, they come around there, they're like, oh, by the way, we have so-called secret meeting with such and such. And a whole thing would happen behind that. And the United Arab Emirates is finding themselves exactly in that situation. And that is the exact thing that will put the Israeli-Emirati relations in danger. Like, this is the short vision of Netanyahu. He wants to have a failed state in Iran. He wants to have his own interests first, and that is degrading his relationship with his close neighboring allies and the Western allies.
Yeah. Don't forget, he also sees these Arabs. I'm going to tell you, I personally think he sees them as lesser people who need to bow down to Israeli power. And even though they have big militaries, those militaries are oriented at Iran, not at Israel. So he thinks that he can sort of dictate, what's going on there. Yeah, Jacob.
But it's a huge problem for the Emiratis and for Mohammed bin Zayed first and foremost, because he's being humiliated. To begin with, this is super, super controversial in his neck of the woods. All the other Gulf countries have gone a different route, and now he's being sold out by the Israelis.
When this is over,
it's a huge problem, and it actually tells the rest of the Gulf countries, shit, we were right. And the Emiratis are in even hotter water than they were before.
When this is over with, there's going to be this big push by Trump and Netanyahu to get them to demand that they sign the Abraham Accords. And by doing that, that's essentially them saying, we expect you to surrender to Israel. Your existence, your threat has always been Iran, no longer Israel. So peace agreements all the way around with us. And technically, we will act as the regional hegemon behind your back, right? I personally think that the GCC nations, Gulf Cooperation Council nations, they need to turn themselves into their own force. And they need to start.
They are looking into it. They're looking into it.
So they better start looking into it now, because if they don't all start agreeing as a combined body, the Israelis have enough power to constantly threaten you. The United States is moving to Israel. I mean, this is the first war we've ever used every base in Israel. Usually we never go to Israel.
And guess who loves this? The IRGC.
IRGC eating it up. We told you so.
They love it. They love it.
Okay, let's go to some questions. Do you think that there's a chance planes could be grounded this fall due to lack of fuel? That's from Gene. The answer is yes, because it's already happened. Right? Spirit Airlines just went out of business because they could not pay for fuel to operate their jets. Lufthansa, when I flew to London, I flew on Lufthansa out of Montreal, and the plane was packed. Every seat on that airplane was completely packed because they had canceled 6 different flights to Europe out of fuel expenses. And they ran this one and just packed it to the gills. And then everybody went from London on shorter range aircraft. So yeah, I think we're already there. Any commentary, guys?
I have a commentary about the Arab countries and Israel, the last one.
Sure, go ahead.
What you said, Trump is going to do push really hard the Arab countries to establish relationship with Israel. The problem with that is the Trump administration do not understand that these Arab leaders fear their people, especially when it comes to Israel peace talks, because Arabs have assassinated their leaders from within the military, from in the security apparatus, because they have signed peace treaties with Israel before. The king himself, the crown prince himself, told the U.S. media when they asked him, why haven't you signed the Abraham Accord? He said, I don't want to be assassinated. He said that to the Western media word for word. Y'all don't understand this?
Don't forget what happened to what's his name, Prince Naif bin
Anwar said that.
No,
Yes,
I'm saying Naif bin Abdulaziz, back when they were fighting Al Qaeda. This guy had a suicide bomber that was a friend, deep, close friend of the family, coming to ask the sheikh for a favor. He had a anally inserted explosive device and almost killed one of the top princes in the country. He was Minister of the Interior at that time, right? The guy in charge of the cops. I always say it, you are just one suicide bomber away, one knife, one bodyguard turning on you from getting rid of whatever it is that you thought you were going to do, in terms of these negotiations with, other states. Okay, a lot of the questions are not related to the China visit or to the war, so I'm going to try to answer those myself. If Trump gave our military orders to nuclear weapons, see, like that, we want to try to stick to today's program.
Malcolm,
yes, go ahead.
I'll just jump off then before you go
we both
ahead
have
with
to.
that.
I have to walk. Okay.
Yeah, because I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm here tomorrow as well. So we'll be in touch tomorrow, and you answer the questions, Malcolm.
All right.
That's
I know you're going to Tivoli. Don't lie.
No, it's far from here, man. I'm near the top of Denmark.
I know it's downtown. You probably got a secret one in your backyard. Okay, take care, Jacob.
Woods.
We'll see you later. Bye. All right, so I'll close out here. Hello from Mr. Turkey, Malcolm. This is from Khan Merdoglu. I think it's Merdioglu. Do you think Russia will attempt a provocation intrusion even of the Baltics or Moldova within the next decade? No. Russia has no army. There's no army. They won't even be in Moldova, or Transnistria anytime soon. I think they're
Could you talk a little bit about that? Because I was talking to my security friend in Saudi Arabia, and he was also surprised. And when you talk to a lot of Americans, you tell them Russia is out of military. They have no understanding of what that means. Could you explain what that means?
Yeah, it means the Ukrainians blowed up all their shit. I mean, the Ukrainians have essentially destroyed over 80% of all tanks that were in Russia. They're pulling out old T-55s, T-72s from the 60s and the early 70s and remanufacturing them. They bought T-55s out, World War 1955 era tanks, to just use as artillery platforms. And now drones are just slaughtering.
Okay, that explains it. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's just
do that. Why hasn't the United States? Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah, I had the alarm go off. I have to do another program. It said, what about our weapons stockpiles? People were not watching Ukraine, where we thought, okay, we have 100,000, 500,000 artillery shells. We find out from Ukraine we need 10 million. I mean, people were high intensity, near peer war is going to explode the stockpiles. We just launched off 1,000 Tomahawk missiles. Finds out for China, we probably need 5,000 of them. Yeah. So we're learning some bad lessons. The problem is Chinese can do anything they want up to this point. But what covert activities do you believe China is almost certainly running in support of Iran that we're not hearing about publicly, whether it's targeting data, cyber operations? What would be the telltale signs to conserve that? That's from Violet Strummer. You won't see it because it's covert. The point is, I think what they're going to do is they don't worry about what they could do right now. Worry about what happens when there's a ceasefire. Right now, they're just filling out all the forms and all the weapons and equipment that they could sell to the Iranians. And most important would be, tunnel digging equipment, right? Iranians are going to go underground. It worked for them. So let me see. Can you give an estimate of the probability that the orange turd agrees to back off of Xi's taking Taiwan in exchange for rare earths, minerals, and help with the strait? No, there's too much money to be made off of Taiwan right now. And their U.S. Congress won't allow it. So we'll see. But you never know with Trump. He could sell your ass out in a minute. When are they going to get an escalator to replace those pesky Air Force One steps? Thank you, Michael Madsen. Steve Melega says, call me Bubs, says, if that's an insulin pump, it's huge. Mine is about 2.5 inches. He is not on an insulin pump. They think he's on that it may in fact be some form of a dialysis pump or circulating chemicals or even a colostomy bag pump, right? Ew. That's why he's got those pads around his legs. He's got to put that pee and poop somewhere. Anyway, let me see. Most of the are not not mission pertinent. So, listen, guys, I have to go do another show. And then at 11, I'm doing another Black Man Spy this week with Dexter Ingram. We will not be having a Substack. He's already done it with Olivia Choi and a couple of other people. He is a national security counterterrorism expert. We're going to be discussing the national counterterrorism strategy. And next week, we are probably going to come and do a Substack live about that. It's like 3 pieces
what
of paper.
What platform will you guys be on?
Oh, we're going to be on YouTube. So you'll be able to see it once the minute it's done, it'll be posted up to YouTube. So listen, thank you for coming to this episode of Black Man Spy. Please subscribe. I know you're all subscribers because you're on here. Tell your friends, share this with other people. I don't know if there's the great recalibration is going on, but a lot of subscribers are probably hitting their walls. But you'll be happy to know we are glad that you guys are becoming paid subscribers. You're transitioning into paid subscribers for the private chats, and I'm going to be scheduling some of those soon. Wajeeh, I will see you tomorrow, inshallah.
See you tomorrow. Thank you for having me.
Okay, guys. Thank you for coming. Love all of you. If you can, buy dog cookies and dog food for your SPCA. Help take care of you.
I'm going to have my Q&A right after this for everyone.
Go to Wajeeh's Q&A. All right. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.